Raila Odinga today delivered a mysterious message to Kenyans. And that message has actually sparked panic and crisis in Kenya Kwanza. Raila Odinga concluded his statement by telling Kenyans to watch this space.
Kati ingine sisi tulisema ati punda imechoka. Tulisema punda imechoka. Leo tunasema punda imeanguka. Mzigo umekuwa kubwa zaidi, sasa punda imeanguka chini. Wakati itafika, hivi karibu inakuja, tutaongea na wananchi. Lakini vile mnavyojua tumekuwa tukisanya masahihi kutoka kwa Wakenya. Masahihi tumesanya imeshafika milioni 10 na zaidi. Sasa imetosha gari. Na tunajua yale kile ambayo tutafanya na hiyo sahihi. Mara hii haitakuwa sisi tunaambia wananchi warudi kwa barabara. Hapana. Wananchi wakirudi watarudi kwa mambo mengine tofauti kabisa. Sitaki kusema wakati huu, manake nitakuwa mimi nimetoa maneno mapema. Lakini wakati huu watu wetu wanasongea na wale watu pande ile nyingine. Lakini na mimi wa Kenya kwa kimombo wanaweza kusema watch this space. Asanteni sana.
In this video, I want us to go through that Raila Odinga statement, the meaning and the possible options which Raila Odinga might actually use based on that statement. But before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to dive in. What do you think Raila Odinga actually meant with that statement which he issued today? Because from my understanding, Raila Odinga has tried almost everything within his powers to scare William Ruto's government. But Kenya Kwanza is unbothered. Raila Odinga began by issuing some threats of some 4 conditions to be met. Kenya Kwanza government never met those conditions. Then Raila Odinga took Kenyans to the streets. Of course, it worked at some point, but I think towards the end of it, Kenya Kwanza decided that we are going to deal with this. And of course, because of the international pressure, the church and the rest, Raila Odinga called off the mandamanos. For me, mandamanos is the only language which Kenya Kwanza are understanding. But in his statement today, Raila Odinga was also very clear that they are not going to call Kenyans for mandamano. And I thought about Robert Greene in his law number 3, which is telling readers that you need to conceal your intentions. So probably Raila Odinga is applying that tactics by concealing his intentions. But for me, I'm figuring out several things. The options which Raila Odinga can do, and probably why he issued that statement. Again, in Law 48, the last law of Robert Greene, it normally tells us that you must assume formlessness. Your plans should never be visible. That's exactly what Raila Odinga, in my understanding, is trying to do. He's just telling Kenyans that, wait, we are not going for mandamanos, but watch this space. So for me, I'm picking a few things. The first thing I'm picking is that Raila Odinga is actually planning to let Kenyans suffer. And then the moment Kenyans will get tired with this government, Kenyans will decide now to go either to the streets or to do whatever they want. And at that time, Raila Odinga will then come in handy and lead or incite Kenyans against the government, to defy government. And there are several areas he can actually use this. One of them is the issue of taxation. Currently, Kenyans are overburdened by tax. They are paying taxes. They're overburdened everywhere. So which means the next day Raila Odinga might decide, okay, for us to succeed, you need to defy the tax on, let's say fuel. So Kenyans will then decide that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we are not using any vehicle on the road. We don't want to see any vehicle on the road. He can decide that. Or he can actually incite Kenyans to defy government, which can actually lead to a revolution. And considering the fact that we've witnessed revolutions in Africa of late, I think Kenya Kwanza is now scared. So for me, that's what I'm understanding with that statement. Because if Raila Odinga is telling them it's not going to go back to Mandamanos, then what is it? If it's not revolution, if it's not inciting them. So for me, that's number one. The second thing which I'm suspecting is that Raila Odinga might have a list of maybe products and companies to boycott. I remember during the People's Assembly after the 2017 election, Raila Odinga announced boycott of a few products. And it actually worked. Safaricom suffered heavily. The only thing which helped Safaricom was the fact that at least for Safaricom, they enjoy a bit of stability in terms of their network, coverage, which their competitor like Telcom or even Zain could not. Because, for example, me, I bought a Zen line at that time. And I think I also bought, because I was a loyal Safaricom member, I also bought Telcom and Zain. And every time I left Nairobi, because by that time I was actually based in Nairobi, every time I left Nairobi to go to the village, the network could not even upload a video. It could not even, it was basically purely a struggle. So they can identify a few products which they can tell Kenyans boycott. So for me, that's something which I'm seeing is likely to happen. Whether it's going to have impact or not, I don't know. Because we're in a country where the leadership doesn't care. The president, the deputy president, and the prime cabinet secretary have all disappeared outside the country because of the heat. They feared that they could not deal with the wrath of Kenyans, so all of them are out. And those who are left here are careless in their statement. The cabinet secretary for energy, for example, is saying he doesn't have, he can't tell, there's nothing he can do. The cabinet secretary for labor, is it labor or Chulugoi, was telling Kenyans that, I'm scared, some Kenyans are complaining, Moses Kuria is telling Kenyans to go and dig their own oil well if they are not comfortable with those high costs. So I don't think it will work. But again, the other thing I'm picking from all this, from Raila Odinga's statement, is that probably Raila Odinga wants to monitor Kenyans, how Kenyans are actually going to behave. Remember yesterday, I opined in this video that Raila Odinga ought to reduce the number of press conferences, and that the mistake he was going to make was basically to ask supporters to go to the street. Probably he listened to that. And now what he's doing, they're likely to monitor how Kenyans are going to react to the new, because the cost of living is going to go up. It's terrible. I was just talking to some friend of mine today, and one of them was telling me that, he is a board member of a school, and they met, and the principal was like, on Monday or Saturday, they're going to send students home, all of them. As long as you have a balance, whether it's 5 bob, 10 bob, they're going to send all of them home. Because they can't keep students at home, in school, while the government has actually refused to disburse money, which is supposed to cater for them. So I think Raila Odinga wants to monitor how Kenyans are going to react. Are they going to start a revolution? Are they going to get angry? Or are Kenyans just going to continue clapping for Kenya Kwanza? So if the Kenyans are going to continue clapping for Kenya Kwanza, then he's going to join them. But if Kenyans are also going to start a kind of demonstration or revolution, then he's going to join at some point. And that's why his statement is appearing vague. And lastly, I also tend to think that Raila Odinga just wants to put Kenya Kwanza in suspense, because that's what they thrive in. You provoke them, let them talk, so that the next day they'll go all over the country trying to justify the cost of living. I was watching a video of a Molo member of parliament, Kimani, an accountant, and I was surprised. Yeah, the guy was telling the audience there in Molo that the cost of living and the cost of fuel is high because of 3 or 2 reasons. One of them, which is okay, the global. Yeah. Then you also gave them the Russia, Ukraine. And the last reason you gave them was that the costs are now high because Raila Odinga and Ruto met. And he was booed at that point. Kenyans told him, no, don't joke with us. So let us wait and see how things are going to pan out. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.